Thank you for coming tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Jerome. I am the mother of 3 and a kindergarten teacher at St. Teresa School in West Roxbury. We have invited you here tonight to tell you about our idea to build a beach house for immunocompromised children. My husband and I lost our daughter Anna, my son Will lost his twin sister, and my daughter Emily lost her big sister to leukemia in 2014. This plan is based on a huge void we discovered while Anna was going through her treatment. We would like cottages built out of mold and mildew resistant materials with air filtration systems, clean to hospital standards, which would give these kids much needed time away. We would have a main house for the facilitators with an au pair suite for a nurse. This house would contain the laundry facilities and provide the cottages with all needed utilities. This is Anna, a beautiful 14-year-old full of hope 1 month after her diagnosis of AML, an aggressive form of leukemia. She was a happy, healthy kid. Outside of an occasional case of strep throat, Anna was never sick. She was only at the doctor's for her annual physical. She was healthy until she wasn't. Her smile never faded while going through treatment. It is because of her that we are here tonight. We found that treatment, although necessary, focus on the physical aspect of healing. Anna's Pals is focusing on the emotional. Here in Boston, pediatric patients are hospitalized until their absolute neutrophil count, or their immune system, reaches 200. Once discharged, they must remain isolated from the outside world until their ANC reaches 500. Any child who receives an organ transplant or a BMT, or bone marrow transplant, is prescribed immunosuppressants. These medications keep the body from rejecting the new organs or bone marrow, and it keeps the patient's ANC well below 500 for months, and sometimes years. This makes patients extremely susceptible to life-threatening infections. At this time, Anna's Pals is the only organization working towards creating a safe environment for immunocompromised children. In the United States, there isn't an organization that provides the services we are looking to provide. No similar facility exists. According to owner.gov, in the United States, 1,878 pediatric organ transplants were performed in 2016. That number does not include the 15,780 bone marrow transplants children undergo annually. Boston Children's Hospital performs over 90 bone marrow transplants per year. In 2016, Boston Children's Hospital performed 132 bone marrow transplants. Since they began administering organ transplants in 1971, over 15,000 children have received new organs. Boston Children's Hospital is just one of the many hospitals in the area who are treating pediatric patients. All of these children will be put on immune suppressants and be isolated from their friends and family, as well as the outside world. As it stands right now, there is no place for them to go safely interact with other children. This puts these children at a significant social disadvantage. These pediatric patients need a well-ventilated, mold, mildew, and dust-free environment. Currently, hospitals and clinics are the only locations meeting those requirements. These kids are at a social disadvantage. They're isolated from the rest of the world. No one else is thinking about this need. We are the only organization trying to fill this void. Anna could not have friends in the house. If she had visitors, they had to be outside. After 5 months straight in the hospital, it would have been nice to have a place for her to gather with her friends. As a teen, friends and socialization are so important. These kids can't use public bathrooms. That really limits the ability to stray too far from home. Anna was not an only child. Her illness had an impact on her siblings as well. They too had to be isolated, not allowed to have friends over. If they went with friends, they had to be sure that everyone was virus-free. Emily and Will had to sanitize their hands every time they walked out the door. We couldn't have towels in the kitchen or in the bathroom. All of our produce had to be grown in America. That really limited what kinds of foods were available. This type of illness and treatment infects the entire family. In this picture, Anna is sitting on the board. She is with her good friends. Children who have gone through treatment look different than other kids. They are weaker and cannot perform the same tasks. Anna's sitting on the paddleboard because she didn't have the physical strength to hold herself up. She was with her friends, so she was comfortable. On a public beach, the stigma of looking and being different would have been traumatizing. People pointing and staring, parents worried that the condition is contagious. That's a lot for a child to bear. The chemo can make kids incontinent. Public beaches are out of the question. This graph represents kids diagnosed with AML like Anna. The red are the children who are going to need a bone marrow transplant. The orange are the number of patients who have relapsed after having a bone marrow transplant. The blue, that's the overall survival rate. I can confirm these statistics. Out of the 12 families we met in the hospital, only 3 have had a positive outcome. You always see kids on the news who meet celebrities or travel thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Basically, only the children in the blue area will be able to make that wish. Make-A-Wish is a fabulous organization, and it's for healthy kids who have been through a terrible medical experience. Kids like Anna don't get to make that wish. When a patient is in a good mood, they'll be in less pain. There's a close correlation with mood and pain in that regard. When we're not feeling well, we tend to isolate ourselves. In reality, that's the worst thing we can do. Having social connections and a strong support system can greatly improve one's health. These are a couple quotes from a doctor in Indiana that were in an article about how better you feel physically when you're social and happy. This is a letter from Dr. Barbara Degar. She's the head of AML treatment at Boston Children's Hospital. In this letter, she endorses the PAL House plan. She states how Anna's batteries were recharged after spending time away from the hospital and with family and friends. Allow me to read it, please. Dear friends of Anna's Pals, it is an honor for me to provide my support for Anna's Pals' ambitious plan to create a safe place of escape near Boston for severely immunocompromised children and their families. This idea grew out of Anna's experience as she underwent treatment for acute myeloid leukemia at Boston Children's Hospital. As Anna's oncologist, I got to know and love Anna and her parents, twin brother and younger sister. Anna would so much have appreciated a vacation destination where she could have gone with her family during brief breaks in the treatment and especially in the period after her bone marrow transplant. Kids like Anna are required to spend countless days and nights in the hospital. When they are not in the hospital, they must still comply with many restrictions to minimize their risk of serious infections and complications. This is an extremely isolating experience for patients, siblings, and parents. Exposures that are routine to others, such as to individuals outside the immediate family, to mold in the physical environment, to contaminants in food, have the potential to be life-threatening. The requirements are not always obvious or intuitive. It is simply not possible to expect any setting that is not expressly designed or modified for this purpose to maintain the required level of cleanliness and control. After her diagnosis, every moment Anna was able to spend with her friends and family in a non-medical environment was a gift. As if her batteries were recharged, Anna's strength and resolve were restored by the time away. Anna ultimately lost the fight against AML. The precious intimate hours and days Anna was able to share with the people she loved are the most cherished memories they have. For the families of children and adolescents who are receiving the type of treatment Anna received, whether or not the outcome is successful, Anna's Pals House will be a fantastic opportunity to enjoy time together in a safe, private, peaceful, comfortable, home-like setting. It will be a beautiful tribute to a very brave and beautiful young woman. Resource development, that's why we're here tonight. We are currently looking for private and corporate sponsors who can assist the financial burden of purchasing land, building the structures, and maintaining the property. There are companies who make mold and mildew resistant wood, paint, and flooring. We would like them to assist with this project. Mold and mildew are very dangerous to these patients. Mold and mildew resistant materials would help with creating a safe environment. We would really like these companies to get involved in this project. This is a sketch of what a cottage would look like. It's a very basic design, again, built with mold and mildew resistant materials. It's a 2-bedroom with a kitchen, a small living area, and a small dining area. We really need your knowledge, your contacts, and your generosity to help these kids and their families enjoy quality time. We just don't know if they will have the opportunity again. Please join other community members like Wick Grosbeck, primary owner of the Boston Celtics, in supporting this project. In conclusion, we ask that you understand the need for this unique plan. With your help and the help of others, we can make Anna's Pal House a reality. We can give these kids and their families lasting memories. We invite you to accept this opportunity to become involved in the cause. These diseases can affect any family, regardless of their ethnicity, background, or financial status. Please think of a friend or colleague who would be willing to work with you in contributing to this needed and worthy cause. Thank you for your time.